General Vex stood frozen at the security checkpoint. His 3 eyes went wide. His purple skin turned pale. The human ambassador smiled and said something that made his blood run cold. Those are just toys on Earth. The general could not believe what he was hearing. It was a normal day on Space Station Theta 9. 47 alien species had gathered for the big peace meeting. The Galactic Council wanted to discuss trade routes and new laws. Everyone was excited because Earth was sending their first ambassador. Humans had joined the galaxy only 6 months ago. Nobody knew much about them. They seemed friendly. They seemed harmless. But today, everything was about to change. Ambassador James Carter walked through the main entrance. He was a tall man with brown hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple black suit. He carried a small backpack. He smiled at everyone he passed. The aliens stared at him with curiosity. Some whispered to each other, "Is that really a human? He looks so normal. He does not look dangerous at all." James reached the security checkpoint. It was standard procedure. Every visitor had to scan their belongings. The security guard was a Crothian named Zek. He had 4 arms and gray skin. He was trained to spot weapons and dangerous items. Zek pointed at the scanner. "Please place your bag here, Ambassador." James nodded and put his backpack on the conveyor belt. The machine started scanning. Suddenly, red lights flashed everywhere. Alarms screamed through the station. Zek jumped back in fear. Other guards rushed over with weapons drawn. They surrounded James from all sides. Everyone in the hall stopped and stared. What was happening? What did the human bring? Within seconds, General Vex arrived. He was the military commander of the Crothian Empire. He had fought in 100 wars. He had seen every weapon in the galaxy. Nothing scared him, but when he looked at the scanner screen, his face changed. His confident expression melted away. He pushed through the crowd and stood before the backpack. His hands were shaking. General Vex slowly unzipped the bag. He reached inside carefully. His fingers touched something cold and metal. He pulled it out and held it up to the light. It was a small silver object with a blade. The other aliens gasped. Some covered their eyes. Others stepped back in terror. The general's voice was barely a whisper. "What is this human?" James looked confused. "That is just a pocket knife, General. I use it to open packages." The room went completely silent. Every alien stared at James like he was insane. General Vex placed the knife on the table. His hands were still shaking. He reached into bag again. This time he pulled out a wooden stick. It was smooth and brown with a thick end. More gasps filled the room. "And this? What is this weapon called?" Vex asked. James scratched his head. "That is a baseball bat. My son plays with it. He is on a little league team." The general sat down slowly. He looked like he might faint. An alien scientist ran forward with a tablet. She was shaking as she showed Vex the screen. "Sir, our database confirms it. These items match the ancient weapons we found 200 years ago." General Vex stood up and grabbed James by the arm. "Come with me, human. We need to talk. Right now." He pulled James toward a private room. The council members followed behind them. Everyone was talking at once. How could humans use such deadly weapons? Why would they give them to children? What kind of species was Earth? James walked calmly, but his mind was racing. What was going on? Why were they so afraid of a pocket knife and a baseball bat? These were normal things. Every human had them. He had no idea that he had just brought the galaxy's worst nightmare onto the station. The interrogation room was cold and gray. A single light hung from the ceiling. General Vex sat across from James at a metal table. 4 armed guards stood by the door. Their weapons were pointed at James. He raised his hand slowly. "General, I think there has been a big misunderstanding. I am not dangerous. These items are not weapons." Vex slammed his fist on the table. "Not weapons. Human, do you take me for a fool? I have been a soldier for 40 years. I know weapons when I see them." He picked up the pocket knife and held it under the light. "Look at this blade. See how it shines. See how sharp it is. This is folded steel. Do you know what that means?" James nodded. "Yes, it means a metal is folded many times to make it stronger. My grandfather taught me that." Vex's eyes went wide. Your grandfather knew the ancient art of blade forging. James shrugged. Well, he was a blacksmith. He made knives and tools for farmers. Lots of humans know how to do it. The general stood up fast. His chair fell backward with a crash. Lots of humans. He turned to his guards. Did you hear that? Thousands of humans know how to forge weapons grade steel. One guard dropped his weapon. Another started breathing hard. The third guard pressed the emergency button on the wall. Within minutes, the room filled with council members. Elder Kryn was there. Commander Zoll was there. Chief Scientist Mara was there. They all stared at the items on the table like they were looking at a bomb. Elder Kryn spoke first. Ambassador Carter, we need the truth. Where did you get these items? James looked around the room. Everyone seemed terrified. He took a deep breath. I bought the pocket knife at a gas station. It cost $5. The baseball bat was a gift for my son's birthday. It cost $20. I have had them for years. I use them all the time. Dead silence. Then Elder Kryn spoke again. You bought a weapon-grade blade at a fuel station for 5 currency units. James nodded. Yes, sir. You can buy them anywhere on Earth. Gas stations, hardware stores, shopping malls, even online. They are very common. Commander Zoll fell into a chair. His face turned green. Common. These death tools are common. How many does Earth have? James thought for a moment. Well, there are 8 billion people on Earth. Most families have kitchen knives. Most households have tools. So probably billions of these items exist. The room erupted in chaos. Aliens were shouting. Some were crying. Others were making emergency calls. Chief Scientist Mara pulled out her tablet. She showed Vex a hologram. It displayed the pocket knife spinning in 3D. Sir, our analysis is complete. This blade can cut through Crothian battle armor. It can pierce energy shields. It can disable most spaceship hull materials. James stared at the hologram. Wait, that little knife can do all that. Mara nodded. Yes, Ambassador. On my planet, our greatest warriors train for 20 years to earn a blade this effective. Only the Royal Guard carries such weapons. And you bought it at a fuel station. Vex sat down again. He looked tired and old. Human, I need you to understand something. 300 years ago, my people found an abandoned planet. It had ruins. It had tools. Tools just like these. We studied them for decades. We tested them in laboratories. Every item we found could be used as a weapon. Deadly efficient weapons. He pulled out another hologram. It showed ancient ruins and broken buildings. We concluded that the species who lived there destroyed themselves. They gave everyone access to weapons. They normalized violence. They made killing tools part of daily life. Eventually they went extinct. When we saw your items today, we thought history was repeating itself. James felt a chill run down his spine. So you think humans are going to destroy ourselves? Vex nodded slowly. Yes, or worse. You might destroy the rest of us too. James stood up. He walked to the table and picked up the baseball bat. General, may I show you something? Vex tensed. His guards raised their weapons. James moved very slowly. He pulled out his phone. The guards almost shot him. It is okay. It is just a communication device. He opened a video file. He turned the phone toward Vex. This is my son, Tommy. He is 8 years old. Watch what he does with this bat. The video played. It showed a sunny day at a baseball field. Kids in uniforms were playing. Parents were cheering. Tommy hit the ball and ran to first base. Everyone was laughing and having fun. Vex watched in confusion. They are training child soldiers. James shook his head. No, General. They are playing a game. It is called baseball. It is for fun, for exercise, for friendship. Nobody gets hurt. Well, sometimes someone gets a bruise, but that is an accident. He showed another video. This one showed his wife in the kitchen. She was using a large knife to cut vegetables. She was smiling and singing. This is my wife, Sarah. She is making dinner for our family. That knife you see is 8 inches long. We keep 6 of them in our kitchen. We use them every single day. For cooking, not for fighting. General Vex stared at the phone screen. His 3 eyes blinked one at a time. You use weapons to prepare food. James smiled. We use tools to prepare food. There's a difference, General. A tool becomes a weapon only when someone chooses to use it that way. Most humans never make that choice. Elder Kryn leaned forward. But Ambassador, you have billions of these tools. Surely some humans use them for violence. James's smile faded. Yes, some do. We have crime. We have violence. We are not perfect. But the vast majority of humans use these items peacefully every single day. Vex picked up the pocket knife again. He looked at it differently now. So this is truly just a tool to you. James nodded. Yes, sir. My daughter put it in my bag because she thought I might need to open boxes or cut rope. She was trying to be helpful. She had no idea it would cause this much trouble. The general closed his eyes. He was quiet for a long time. Finally he spoke. Ambassador, if these simple tools frighten us this much, I have one more question. James waited. What do humans actually use for war? What are your real weapons? James went very still. The room temperature seemed to drop. Every alien leaned forward waiting for the answer. James looked at each of them. His kind expression changed. His eyes became serious. General, that is a very good question, and I promise you do not want to know the answer. General Vex sat down heavily in his chair. The other council members stood frozen around the table. No one spoke. No one moved. The silence was thick and uncomfortable. Finally, Elder Kryn broke the silence. Ambassador Carter, we need to understand your species. Please help us understand how humans think. James nodded slowly. He pulled out a chair and sat down. All right, I will tell you our story. But you need to listen carefully. What I am about to say might sound crazy to you. It might sound impossible. But every word is true. He pointed at the pocket knife on the table. You asked why we have so many tools. You asked why we give them to everyone. The answer is simple. Humans are builders. We have always been builders. 10,000 years ago, we lived in caves. We had nothing. No technology. No weapons. No protection. Just our hands and our brains. Chief Scientist Mara pulled up a hologram. It showed early humans in animal skins. They looked weak and small. Ambassador, our scans show that ancient humans had no natural armor. No claws. No venom. No thick skin. How did you survive? James smiled. We made tools. We took rocks and made them sharp. We took sticks and made them into spears. We learned to shape the world around us. Commander Zal interrupted. So you created weapons to hunt. James shook his head. We created tools to survive. We hunted, yes. But we also built shelters. We made fire. We crafted containers to carry water. We invented farming equipment. Every tool had multiple purposes. A knife could skin an animal or cut rope. An axe could chop wood or defend against predators. We never saw them as just weapons. Vex leaned forward. But surely your people fought each other. Surely there were wars. James's expression became sad. Yes, General. There were wars. Terrible wars. As humans spread across Earth, we formed tribes. Then villages. Then cities. Then nations. And yes, we fought. We fought over land. We fought over resources. We fought over ideas and beliefs. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the stars shined peacefully. But here's what you need to understand. Every time we fought, we learned. Every war taught us something. We learned that violence has consequences. We learned that hatred destroys everyone. We learned that cooperation is stronger than conflict. Elder Kryn spoke softly. Ambassador, our records show that Earth had 2 massive global wars in the 20th century. Millions died. Your cities were destroyed. How did your species not go extinct? James turned around. His eyes were serious. We almost did, Elder. We came very close. He pulled out his phone again. He showed them historical images. Pictures of destroyed cities. Pictures of soldiers. Pictures of pain and suffering. This was World War I. Then 20 years later, this was World War II. We invented terrible weapons. Bombs that could level entire cities. Poison gas that killed thousands. Machines designed only for death. The aliens watched in horror. One young council member covered her eyes. James continued. After the Second War, we invented something even worse. Nuclear weapons, bombs so powerful they could destroy all life on Earth. We built thousands of them. We pointed them at each other. For 50 years we lived under the threat of total destruction. Vex's voice was barely a whisper. What stopped you? Why did you not destroy yourselves? James sat down again. He looked tired. Because we chose not to. It sounds simple, but it was the hardest choice humanity ever made. World leaders sat in rooms just like this one. They had the power to end everything. One button press. One decision. But they chose peace instead. Chief Scientist Mara shook her head. That makes no sense, Ambassador. If you had the weapons and the fear and the hatred, why would you choose peace? James smiled. Because we also had something else. Hope, love, dreams for the future. Every leader who chose not to press that button did it because they thought about their children, their families, their people. They chose life over death. He stood up and walked back to the table. He picked up the baseball bat. My son plays with this. He dreams of becoming a professional player. My wife uses kitchen knives to cook meals that bring our family together. My daughter packed this pocket knife because she loves me and wanted me to be prepared. These are not weapons, General. These are symbols of our choice. Commander Zoll spoke up. But Ambassador, you still have violence on Earth. You still have crime and war. James nodded. Yes, we do. We are not perfect. We never claimed to be. But here is the important part. 8 billion humans wake up every day. Most of them have access to tools that could be used as weapons. Knives, hammers, cars, chemicals, fire. But how many actually use them for violence? He looked around the room. Less than 1%. Less than 1/10 of 1% actually. That means billions of people every single day choose kindness over cruelty. They choose to help instead of hurt. They choose to build instead of destroy. That choice is humanity's greatest weapon. The room was silent again. But this time it was different. The aliens were not scared. They were thinking. They were understanding. Elder Kryn stood slowly. Ambassador, you're saying that humans are dangerous but choose not to be. James nodded. Exactly. We have the capacity for great violence. But we also have the capacity for great love. And every day we choose which one to express. General Vex picked up the pocket knife. He turned it over in his hands. He looked at it with new eyes. On my planet, only warriors carry blades. We train for decades. We take sacred oaths. We are chosen by the state. But on Earth anyone can have one. James nodded. Yes, because we trust each other. We trust that most people will make good choices. And most of the time we are right. Vex set the knife down gently. Ambassador, I have studied warfare my entire life. I have commanded armies. I have won battles. But I never understood this. The strength to have power and not use it. The courage to trust others with dangerous tools. This is beyond my understanding. James walked over to Vex. He put his hand on the general's shoulder. It is beyond understanding, General. It is faith. Faith in each other. Faith in tomorrow. Faith that good will win over evil if we just keep choosing it. That faith has carried humanity through our darkest times. And it is why we are still here. Chief Scientist Mara was typing rapidly on her tablet. Ambassador, this changes everything. Our entire understanding of human psychology was wrong. We thought you were warriors who survived through strength. But you are survivors who became strong through choice. James smiled. That is a beautiful way to put it. Yes, we survived not because we were the strongest or the fastest or the most armed. We survived because we learned to work together. We learned to trust. We learned to hope. And most importantly, we learned that every tool is neutral. It is the hand that holds it and the heart that guides that hand which matters. Elder Kryn raised his hand. Ambassador, I have one more question. You mentioned nuclear weapons earlier. Do you still have them? The room tensed again. Everyone waited for the answer. James took a deep breath. Yes, Elder. We still have them. Thousands of them. Enough to destroy Earth many times over. The aliens gasped. Vex stood up fast. Then you are still in danger. You could still destroy yourselves. James shook his head slowly. No, General. We keep them as a reminder of how close we came to extinction, a reminder of what happens when fear controls us. They sit in bunkers gathering dust, and every year fewer nations want them, because we learned our lesson. He walked back the window. Out there in the galaxy, you have thousands of species. How many of them have weapons that could destroy their own planets? How many choose not to use them? That is the real question. Not whether we have the capacity for destruction, but the next morning station Theta 9 was different. News had spread across the galaxy. The human ambassador was going to demonstrate Earth technology. Every species wanted to watch. The main observation deck was packed with thousands of aliens. Hologram screens connected millions more from distant planets. Everyone was talking. Everyone was nervous. What would the humans show them? James stood in the center of the deck. He wore the same simple black suit. His backpack sat on a table beside him. General Vex stood to his right. Elder Kryn and the full council sat in a half-circle around him. Armed guards lined every wall. Security was at maximum level. No one knew what to expect. Elder Kryn raised her hand for silence. The crowd went quiet. Ambassador Carter, you have requested this demonstration. The council has agreed. Please show us what humans consider normal. Show us your everyday items. Help us understand your world. James nodded. Thank you, Elder. I appreciate your trust. What I am about to show you is not meant to scare you. It is meant to educate you. He reached into his backpack slowly. Every guard tensed. Every alien leaned forward. He pulled out the pocket knife first. He held it up for everyone to see. Yesterday, General Vex called this a weapon of mass destruction. Today, I will show you what it really is. He placed an apple on the table. Then he used a knife to cut it into slices. The blade moved smoothly. Clean cuts. Perfect slices. This is how my daughter uses this knife. She cuts fruit for lunch. She opens packages. She sharpens pencils when we go camping. It is a tool that makes life easier. Nothing more. He offered a slice of apple to Vex. The general hesitated. Then slowly he took it. He ate it carefully. His eyes widened. It is sweet. James smiled. Yes, humans grow thousands of varieties of apples. We use knives to prepare them, to share them, to enjoy them together. Next, James pulled out the baseball bat. He set up a small ball on a stand. This is how my son uses this bat. He swung gently. The bat connected with the ball. It flew across the room. A young alien ducked. The ball bounced harmlessly off the wall. James walked over and picked it up. This is called baseball. It is a game. Children play it in parks. Families watch it together. It teaches teamwork and discipline and sportsmanship. He showed a video on the large screens. Kids playing baseball. Parents cheering. Everyone laughing. No one was hurt. No one was scared. It was just a sunny day and a simple game. Commander Zal spoke up. But Ambassador, that bat could crush bones. It could break armor. James nodded. Yes, it could. But we do not use it that way. We choose not to. Just like we choose not to use our knives for violence. He reached into his bag again. This time he pulled out a small red lighter. The guards raised their weapons immediately. Fire. The human has a fire starter. James held up his other hand. Please stay calm. This is very common on Earth. He flicked the lighter. A small flame appeared. See, controlled fire. We use it to light candles, to start campfires, to create warmth and light. He lit a candle on the table. The flame danced gently. Humans discovered fire thousands of years ago. It was our first great tool. It kept us warm. It cooked our food. It protected us from predators. Yes, fire can destroy, but it can also create. It can bring people together. On Earth, families gather around fires to tell stories and share meals. Fire is not our enemy. It is our oldest friend. Chief Scientist Mara was taking notes rapidly. Ambassador, on most planets, fire is strictly controlled. Only military and industrial facilities use it. How do humans manage the risk? James smiled. We teach our children about fire safety. We have rules and laws. We trust people to be responsible. And most of the time they are. He pulled out more items one by one. A roll of duct tape, strong adhesive tape used for repairs. He showed how it could fix a broken chair or seal a box. Rope, used for climbing or securing items or playing tug of war. Scissors, used for cutting paper or fabric or hair. Each item had peaceful purposes. Each item was part of daily human life. The aliens watched in amazement. These were not weapons. These were solutions. Tools that made life better and easier and safer. But then one council member stood up. His name was Throck. He was from a warrior species. Ambassador, you show us peaceful uses, but you avoid the truth. Humans have wars. You have soldiers. You have killed each other. What weapons do your militaries use? The room went silent. Everyone turned to James. His expression became serious. You are right, Throck. I have been showing you civilian life. Normal, everyday human existence. But you want to see military technology. You want to understand how humans fight wars. James looked at General Vex. Are you sure you want to know this? Once I tell you, there's no going back. Vex stood up. His three eyes locked onto James. Yes, Ambassador. We need to know. If Earth is joining the Galactic Council, we must understand your full capabilities. James took a deep breath. All right, but remember I warned you. He pulled out his phone. He connected it to the main screens. Images appeared. Massive machines. Huge ships. Advanced aircraft. These are human military vehicles. Tanks that can travel over any terrain. Jets that fly faster than sound. Ships that can cross oceans and launch aircraft from their decks. Submarines that hide beneath the water for months. The aliens stared. Some looked impressed. Some looked worried. But Throck laughed. Is that all human? My people have similar technology. You are not so special. James nodded. You are right. Vehicle technology is common in the galaxy. But let me show you something else. The image changed. It showed a single bomb. Small and silver. This is called a nuclear weapon. One of these can destroy an entire city instantly. The heat reaches millions of degrees. The blast wave travels faster than anything can escape. The radiation poisons a land for generations. The laughter stopped. Throck sat down slowly. James continued. During our world wars, we dropped 2 of these bombs on cities. Hundreds of thousands died instantly. Hundreds of thousands more died slowly from radiation. We have spent 80 years regretting those decisions. We built bigger bombs after that. Hydrogen bombs. Thermonuclear weapons. One bomb that could destroy everything within 50 miles. The screens showed mushroom clouds. Massive explosions at dwarf mountains. The aliens watched in horror. Elder Crin's voice shook. How many of these weapons does Earth have? James looked down. At our peak, we had 70,000 nuclear weapons. Enough to destroy all life on Earth several times over. We called it mutually assured destruction. If anyone attacked us, we would destroy them. But we would also destroy ourselves and everyone else. General Vex stood frozen. His worst fears were confirmed. Humans were not just dangerous. They were apocalyptic. But then James said something that changed everything. That was our past, General. Our shameful past. Today we have fewer than 15,000. And that number drops every year. Because we learned. We learned that having the power to destroy everything means nothing if there is nothing left to protect. He turned off the screens. He faced the council directly. You wanted to know our real weapons. There they are. Tools of absolute destruction. Weapons that can end civilizations. But here is what matters. We have had these weapons for 80 years. We could have used them hundreds of times. We had reasons. We had opportunities. We had fear and anger and hatred. But we chose not to. James walked closer to the council members. Every nuclear weapon on Earth sits in a secure facility. Multiple people must agree before one can be launched. Presidents and generals and commanders all have to say yes. And in 80 years, they have all said no. Because we learned that having ultimate power means having ultimate responsibility. Throck spoke quietly. But Ambassador, what if someone makes a mistake? What if someone chooses wrong? James nodded. That is the fear we live with every day. That is why we have safety systems, backup plans, international agreements. We inspect each other's weapons. We communicate constantly. We work together to prevent accidents, because we know one mistake could end everything. Chief Scientist Mara stood up. Ambassador, I must ask, are there weapons even more powerful than nuclear bombs? James went very still. His face became pale. Yes, we have researched biological weapons. Diseases that could spread across continents. Chemical weapons that could poison entire regions. And we have theoretical weapons even worse. Weapons that could crack planets or ignite atmospheres or collapse stars. The observation deck erupted in panic. Aliens were shouting. Some were running for exits. Others were calling their home planets. Elder Kryn banged her staff on the ground. Silence. Order. Everyone calmed down. She turned to James. Ambassador, why would you research such things? Why would you create tools for extinction? James looked tired. Old. Sad. Because we wanted to know if it was possible. Because we feared our enemies would create them first. Because humans are curious, and curiosity does not always lead to wisdom. But here is the crucial point. We researched these weapons, and then we chose not to build them. We signed treaties. We destroyed our stockpiles. We made them illegal under international law. He walked back to his backpack. He picked up the pocket knife again. You see, this knife could kill one person. Our nuclear weapons could kill millions. Our theoretical weapons could kill billions. But every day, 8 billion humans choose not to kill anyone. That choice, that constant daily choice to be peaceful, that is humanity's real strength. The observation deck was completely silent. Thousands of aliens held their breath. Millions more watched through holograms across the galaxy. General Vex stood face to face with Ambassador James Carter. The fate of Earth hung in the balance. Everything depended on what James said next. James looked around the room slowly. He saw fear in their eyes. He saw doubt. He saw confusion. But he also saw something else. Hope, curiosity, a desire to understand. He took a deep breath and began to speak. General, you asked for proof. You want guarantees. You want certainty that humans will not hurt you. I understand that, but I cannot give you what you ask for. The crowd began to murmur. Vex's expression hardened. Then Earth cannot join the council. James held up his hand. Please let me finish. I cannot give you proof because proof requires past evidence. It requires a track record. Earth has only been in space for 6 months. We have not had time to prove ourselves to you. All I can offer is a promise. And I know promises seem weak compared to proof. He walked to the center of the deck. But let me tell you what a human promise means. When a human makes a promise, we stake our honor on it. Our reputation, our identity. Breaking a promise is one of the worst things a human can do. We teach our children that your word is your bond. That a person who keeps promises is trustworthy. That a person who breaks promises is nothing. Elder Kryn leaned forward. Ambassador, many species make promises. Words are easy. Actions are what matter. James nodded. You are absolutely right, Elder. So, let me tell you about human promises through our actions. Let me tell you what we have already done, what we continue to do every single day. He pulled up images on the main screens. This is Earth, our home planet. For thousands of years, we divided it into nations. We drew borders. We fought over land. We competed for resources. But 70 years ago, after our terrible wars, we created something new, the United Nations. A place where every nation could meet, where we could talk instead of fight, where we could solve problems together. The image showed a large building with flags from every country. Is it perfect? No. Do we still have conflicts? Yes. But for 70 years we have maintained this promise. The promise to keep talking. The promise to seek peace before war. The promise to work together when it matters most. Commander Zal spoke up. But, Ambassador, you still have militaries. You still have weapons. How is that peace? James smiled. Peace does not mean we are defenseless, Commander. It means we choose defense over offense. It means we prepare for the worst, but work for the best. Every nation on Earth has the right to protect itself. But we have international laws about how war is conducted. We protect civilians. We care for wounded enemies. We have rules even in conflict, because we believe some things are sacred even in war. He showed more images. Hospitals, schools, rescue workers. After natural disasters, humans from every nation rush to help. When earthquakes destroy cities, we send aid. When floods devastate regions, we send supplies. When disease spreads, we share medical knowledge. We do not ask if you are our ally. We do not check your politics. We help because you are human, because you need help, because that is what we promise each other. Chief Scientist Mara was crying. Her species had experienced a great famine decades ago. Ambassador Human sent food to my planet during our famine. Your ships arrived before anyone else. You asked for nothing in return. Why did you do that? James looked at her kindly. Because you needed help. Because we had extra food. Because letting people starve when we could prevent it would violate everything we believe in. He walked over to her. We have a saying on Earth. We are our brother's keeper. It means we are responsible for each other, not just humans on Earth. Everyone, every living being. That responsibility is part of our promise. The promise we make every day to be better than we were yesterday, to help more than we hurt, to build more than we destroy. Throck stood up again. His warrior pride was challenged. Ambassador, you speak of peace and helping. But what about strength? What about power? In the galaxy, only the strong survive. James turned to face him. You are wrong, Throck. The strong do not survive. The adaptable survive. And humans learn to adapt. We adapted from competition to cooperation, from conquest to collaboration. That adaptation made us stronger than any weapon ever could. He showed images of space stations, research facilities, international projects. When we built our first space station, we did it together. 15 nations working as one. When we sent probes to explore our solar system, we shared the data with everyone. When we discovered new technologies, we published the research openly. We could have kept secrets. We could have gained advantages. But we chose to share. Because advancement for one human is advancement for all humans. General Vex was listening carefully. His 3 eyes were focused completely on James. Ambassador, this cooperation you described, this sharing, this helping, is this why your species survived? James nodded slowly. Yes, General, that is exactly why. You see, humans are not the strongest species on Earth. We are not the fastest. We do not have sharp claws or thick armor. We survived because we worked together. We hunted in groups. We built communities. We protected each other. He walked back to the table with his backpack. That is why we created tools. That is why we shared them. A knife helps me prepare food, but it also helps my neighbor. A hammer helps me build my house, but it also helps my friend. Tools multiply when shared. Knowledge multiplies when shared. Safety multiplies when shared. Humans learned this truth tens of thousands of years ago, and we have never forgotten it. Elder Kryn stood up. She looked very old and very wise. Ambassador James Carter, I have lived for 300 years. I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have watched species destroy themselves with greed and fear. But I have never heard a species describe themselves the way you describe humans. You admit your flaws. You acknowledge your capacity for evil. But you focus on your choice to be good. Why? James felt tears in his eyes. Because, Elder, that choice is all we have. We cannot change our nature. We cannot erase our violent history. We cannot pretend we are perfect. But we can choose. Every single day we can wake up and choose kindness over cruelty, peace over war, love over hate. And most humans make that choice. Not because it is easy, but because it is right. The room was absolutely silent. Not a single alien spoke. Not a single sound was made. James continued. So here is my promise to you. To all of you. Earth promises to bring that same choice to Galaxy. We will not force our ways on anyone. We will not demand you change. We will simply show you that another path exists. A path where strength comes from unity. Where safety comes from cooperation. Where progress comes from sharing. He picked up the pocket, knife one last time. We will bring our tools. We will share our knowledge. We will offer our help, and if you ever threaten us or attack us, we'll defend ourselves. We will fight if we must, but we will always prefer peace. We will always seek understanding first. We will always remember that every species in this galaxy has the same right to exist that we do. Vex stepped forward. His voice was soft. Ambassador, what if we reject your promise? What if the Council votes to deny Earth membership? What will humans do then? James put the knife back in his bag. He zipped it closed. Then we will go home, General. We will continue working on Earth. We will continue improving ourselves. And we will wait. We will wait until you are ready. We will wait until you trust us. Because good things are worth waiting for. And joining this council is a very good thing. He picked up his backpack. He looked at every council member. I have shown you our tools. I have shown you our weapons. I have shown you our history. I have told you our promise. Now the choice is yours. But know this, whatever you decide, humans will keep choosing peace. We will keep choosing cooperation. We will keep choosing to be better. Not because you are watching, but because that is who we decided to be. Elder Kryn raised her staff. Ambassador Carter, please wait outside. The council must deliberate. We will vote on Earth's membership. James nodded. He walked toward the exit. General Vex walked beside him. At the door, James stopped. He turned back one more time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us a chance. Whatever you decide, I hope we can be friends. The door closed behind him. James sat down in the hallway. His hands were shaking. He had done everything he could. He had told the truth. He had made the promise. Now he had to wait. Now he had to trust that the galaxy would see what he saw. That humans were not perfect, but they were trying. And sometimes trying is enough. Inside the observation deck, the council began to argue. Some aliens wanted Earth to join immediately. Others wanted more time. Some were scared. Some were inspired. General Vex listened to all of them. Then he stood up. His voice carried across the entire room. Everyone stopped talking. They turned to face him. Then Vex smiled. It was the first time James had ever seen him smile. Ambassador Carter, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I officially welcome Earth as our newest member. Welcome to the galaxy. Welcome to the family. Welcome home. James felt his knees go weak. He grabbed the wall for support. We did it. We actually did it. Vex nodded. You did it. Your honesty did it. Your promise did it. They walked back into the observation deck together. The crowd parted for them. Elder Kryn stood at the center waiting. She held out her hand to James. Ambassador Carter, please approach. James walked forward slowly. Everything felt like a dream. Elder Kryn placed her hand on his shoulder. By the power granted to me by the Galactic Council, I hereby recognize Earth as a full member world. You have all rights, all protections, all responsibilities that come with membership. She handed him a crystal. It glowed with soft blue light. This is your planet's council crystal. It represents Earth's voice in galactic matters. Guard it well. Use it wisely. Speak truth with it. James took the crystal carefully. It was warm in his hands. It pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Thank you, Elder. Thank you all. I promise Earth will honor this trust. We will work hard. We will help where we can. We will learn from you. The celebration continued for hours. Aliens approached James to introduce themselves. They asked about Earth. They shared stories. They made plans for future cooperation. James smiled and talked until his voice was tired. Finally, the crowd began to thin. People returned to their ships. The observation deck grew quiet. James sat down at the table. His backpack was still there. He opened it and looked inside. The pocket knife, the baseball bat, the lighter, simple tools that had caused so much fear. He laughed quietly. Who knew a kitchen knife would save the world? General Vex sat down beside him. Not the knife ambassador. You saved the world. Your words, your honesty, your promise. James shook his head. No, General. Humanity saved itself. Thousands of years ago, we chose to work together. We chose to share. We chose to trust. Every generation made that choice again. Every person who chose kindness over cruelty made this moment possible. I am just a messenger. Vex nodded slowly. Then, humanity has many good messengers. I look forward to meeting more of them. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then James stood up. I should call home. Tell them the news. My wife will be so happy. My kids will want to celebrate. Vex smiled. Go, Ambassador. Be with your family. Tomorrow, we begin the real work. But tonight, celebrate. You earned it. James picked up his backpack. He walked toward the door. Then he stopped and turned back. General, thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for listening. Thank you for seeing past your fears. Vex stood up. Ambassador, thank you. Thank you for teaching an old soldier that strength is not about how hard you can hit. It is about how often you choose not to. That lesson is worth more than any weapon. James left the observation deck. He walked through the quiet corridors of Station Theta 9. He reached his quarters and opened his communication device. The call connected quickly. His wife's face appeared on the screen. James, you are calling late. Is everything okay? He smiled so wide his face hurt. Sir, we did it. They accepted us. Earth is officially part of the Galactic Council. She screamed with joy. The kids came running. They jumped into view, all talking at once. Dad, you are famous. Dad, can we visit space stations? Dad, did you meet any cool aliens? James laughed. Yes to everything. I will tell you all about it when I get home. But right now I just wanted to hear your voices. I wanted to thank you. Sarah looked confused. Thank us. For what? James held up the pocket knife. For packing this. For teaching our kids to use tools safely. For building a home filled with love instead of fear. For choosing every day to be kind. You and billions of other humans made today possible. You are the real heroes. His wife was crying now. Happy tears. Come home soon, James. Come home safe. We miss you. I will. I promise. And when I get there, we are having the biggest celebration ever. Pizza and ice cream and all your favorite things. The kids cheered. They blew kisses at the screen. James blew kisses back. The call ended. He sat alone in his room. The crystal from Elder Kryn sat on his desk glowing softly. He picked it up and held it. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new responsibilities, new opportunities. Earth had joined the galaxy. Humanity had taken its first real step into the stars. There would be difficulties ahead, cultural misunderstandings, political complications, growing pains. But James was not worried. Humans had overcome worse. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars and disasters. They would survive this too, because humans had something special, something unique. They had the ability to look at a knife and see a tool, the wisdom to hold ultimate power and choose restraint, the courage to trust billions of people with dangerous items every single day, the faith that most people would make good choices. And they were usually right. James walked to the window. Outside, the stars shined endlessly. Somewhere out there was Earth, his home, his family, his people. 8 billion humans going about their lives. Cooking dinner with sharp knives. Playing games with heavy bats. Building fires for warmth. Using tools for creation. Choosing peace over violence. Choosing hope over despair. Choosing tomorrow over yesterday. The observation deck went completely silent. Every council member turned to face General Vex. Thousands of aliens stopped moving. Millions watching through holograms leaned closer to their screens. This was the moment. The general's vote carried enormous weight. His opinion influenced entire star systems. Whatever he said next would shape the future of Earth and the entire galaxy. Vex stood tall. His 3 eyes scanned the room slowly. His purple skin seemed to glow under the lights. When he spoke, his voice was calm but powerful. Council members, I have served the Crothian Empire for 40 years. I have commanded fleets. I have won battles on 100 worlds. I have studied every weapon system in the known galaxy. I thought I understood warfare. I thought I understood strength. But today a human taught me that I understood nothing. The crowd began to whisper. Elder Kryn raised her staff for silence. Vex continued. When Ambassador Carter arrived yesterday, I saw his tools and I saw weapons. When he opened his bag, I saw threats. When he spoke about his planet, I saw danger. I believe humans were the most dangerous species we had ever encountered. And I was right, but I was also completely wrong. He walked to the center of the room. Humans are dangerous. Their tools can become weapons instantly. Their knowledge of chemistry and physics and biology is terrifying. Their capacity for violence is proven by their own history. Any species that can create nuclear weapons and then choose not to use them for 80 years is more disciplined than any warrior culture I have ever known. Commander Zoll stood up. So you believe they are too dangerous, General. You vote to reject them. Vex shook his head. No, Commander. I vote to accept them immediately. The room exploded in shocked voices. Aliens were standing. Some were shouting. Others were cheering. Elder Kryn banged her staff 3 times. Order. Let the general finish. Vex waited for silence. Then he continued. I vote to accept Earth because humans taught me the difference between power and strength. Power is the ability to destroy. Strength is the ability to choose not to. Humans have incredible power, but their strength is even greater. They choose peace billions of times every single day. That choice is not weakness. It is the highest form of courage. He picked up the pocket knife from the table. Yesterday, I held this knife and saw a weapon that could kill. Today, I hold this knife and see a tool that feeds families. The knife did not change. I changed. My understanding changed. And that is what humans offer the galaxy. They offer us a chance to change how we see everything. Chief Scientist Mara wiped her eyes. She stood up slowly. General Vex, I agree with you. I vote to accept Earth as well. My species received human aid during our darkest time. They asked nothing in return. They expected no favors. They helped because they could. That generosity is rare in the galaxy. We need more of it. One by one, other council members stood. A delegate from the water world of Aquarius spoke. Humans sent engineers to help us clean our oceans. They shared technology freely. I vote yes. A representative from the desert planet Eridus spoke. Humans taught us new farming methods. Our people no longer starve. I vote yes. More voices joined. More stories were shared. Humans had touched many worlds already. Small acts of kindness. Simple gestures of friendship. Seeds planted across the galaxy. But not everyone agreed. Throck stood up. His warrior species valued strength above all. I respect the general's words, but I cannot agree. Humans are too unpredictable. They smile while carrying weapons. They speak of peace while building bombs. How can we trust them? This is not about trust. This is about safety. I vote no. Several other delegates agreed with him. They feared human potential. They worried about future conflicts. The debate grew louder. Arguments flew back and forth. Elder Kryn let them speak. Democracy required all voices to be heard. Finally, she raised her staff again. Enough. We have heard all perspectives. Now we vote the traditional way. By light, the room dimmed. Every council member held a small device. Green light meant yes. Red light meant no. Elder Kryn spoke the formal words. All those in favor of accepting Earth into the Galactic Council, show your light now. Devices began to glow. Green lights appeared throughout the room, one after another. Dozens, then hundreds. The observation deck became filled with green light, but red lights appeared too. Throck's light glowed red. Several warrior species joined him. A few isolated civilizations voted red as well. They preferred distance over contact. Fear over hope. Elder Kryn's staff began to glow. It counted the votes automatically. The entire galaxy waited. Finally, the staff spoke in a mechanical voice. Vote complete. Green lights 412. Red lights 37. Total votes 449. Earth membership approved by 92% majority. The observation deck erupted in cheers. Aliens were hugging. Some were crying. Others were celebrating. Outside in the hallway, James heard the noise. He stood up quickly. His heart was pounding. What happened? Did we pass? Did they accept us? The door opened. General Vex walked out. His face was unreadable. James held his breath. Earth joined the Galactic Council. James thought the hard part was over. But 3 days later, an emergency message arrived. A crisis was coming, and only humans could solve it, but the solution would test everything James promised. Story continues. James Carter woke up to alarms blaring. Red lights flashed in his quarters on Station Theta 9. His communication device was ringing urgently. He jumped out of bed and grabbed it. The screen showed General Vex. His 3 eyes were wide with panic. "Ambassador, we have an emergency. Come to the command center immediately." James did not ask questions. He got dressed fast and ran. The command center was chaos. Aliens were shouting. Screens showed star maps and data streams. Elder Kryn stood at the center, looking very worried. James rushed to her side. "Elder, what happened? What is the emergency?" She pointed at the main display. It showed a solar system at the edge of Council space. That is the Zentar system. 4 planets, 2 billion inhabitants. And in 6 hours, an asteroid will hit their home world. James felt his blood run cold. An asteroid? How big? Chief Scientist Mara appeared beside him. Her face was pale. 15 kilometers wide, Ambassador, moving at 40,000 kilometers per hour. If it hits the surface, it will cause an extinction-level event. Every living thing on that planet will die. The room went silent. Everyone looked at James. "Why are you all staring at me?" General Vex stepped forward. "Because, Ambassador, the Zentar are not council members. They rejected our invitation 5 years ago. They said they did not need outside help. They wanted to remain independent. Under council law, we cannot intervene in non-member systems without their permission." James felt angry. "So you're going to let 2 billion people die because of politics? That is insane." Elder Kryn shook her head sadly. "It is not politics, Ambassador. It is sovereignty. We learned long ago that forcing help on species who do not want to cause us more harm than good. Some civilizations resent interference. Some see it as weakness. Some use it as an excuse to blame others for their problems. We must respect their choice, even if we disagree with it." James looked at the screen. The asteroid was a massive rock tumbling through space. It would hit the planet's largest continent. Cities would be vaporized instantly. Oceans would boil. The atmosphere would fill with dust, blocking the sun for years. Nothing would survive. Have you contacted them? Have you offered help? Commander Zal nodded. "Yes, Ambassador. We sent 6 messages. They responded once. They said they would handle it themselves. They told us to stay away." James grabbed the communication console. "Patch me through to their government." Now, the operator hesitated. "Ambassador, they specifically said no more contact." James slammed his hand on the desk. "I do not care what they said. 2 billion lives are at stake. Connect me now." The operator looked at Elder Kryn. She nodded slowly. The screen changed. It showed a Zentar leader. He had blue skin and 4 arms. His face was angry. "Who dares contact us again? We said no help. We said no interference." James spoke calmly. "My name is Ambassador James Carter. I represent Earth. We are new members of the Galactic Council. I am calling to offer assistance with the asteroid heading toward your planet." The Zentar leader's eyes narrowed. "Earth, the species with the dangerous tools. We know about you. We do not want your help either." James took a deep breath. "Sir, with respect, this is not about politics or pride. This is about survival. That asteroid will destroy your civilization. We have technology that can help. Please let us assist you." The Zentar leader laughed bitterly. "You think we are helpless. You think we cannot solve our own problems. We have scientists. We have ships. We will deflect the asteroid ourselves. Now stop contacting us." The screen went black. James turned to the council members. "How long until impact?" Mara checked her data. 5 hours and 42 minutes. James ran his hand through his hair. "What options do we have? Can we stop the asteroid without their permission?" Vex shook his head. "Our weapons could destroy it, but the debris would still hit the planet. We would need to land teams on the surface to coordinate evacuation. We would need to enter their airspace. That would be an act of war. James felt trapped. So we just watched them die. We have the power to save them, but we do nothing. Is that what council membership means? Elder Kryn walked over to him. She placed her hand on his shoulder. Ambassador, I understand your frustration. Humans value life above all else. But the council has rules for good reasons. If we force help on the Zentaur, they will see it as invasion. Other non-member species will fear us. It could start conflicts across the galaxy. James pulled away from her. I do not care about galactic politics, Elder. I care about 2 billion people who are about to die. People with families, with children, with dreams. He turned to General Vex. You have ships nearby. You have military resources. Give them to me. Let Earth handle this. Vex looked surprised. Ambassador, what are you saying? James spoke clearly. Earth is not bound by your old agreements. We just joined the council 3 days ago. We have no history with the Zentaur. Let me take a small team. Let me go to their planet. If they refuse help and we fail, then you can say Earth acted alone. The council stays clean. But if we succeed, then 2 billion lives are saved. Either way, it is worth trying. The command center erupted in arguments. Some council members agreed with James. Others said it was too risky. Elder Kryn raised her staff for silence. Ambassador Carter, what you propose is very dangerous. If you fail, the Zentaur may blame Earth. They may become enemies. If you succeed without their permission, they may still become enemies. You could destroy Earth's reputation before it even begins. James looked at the pocket knife clipped to his belt. He touched it gently. Elder, 3 days ago I stood in the observation deck and made a promise. I promise that humans choose to help, that we value life, that we do what is right even when it is hard. If I do nothing today, that promise means nothing. I would rather risk Earth's reputation than live with 2 billion deaths on my conscience. General Vex stepped forward. Ambassador, if you do this, you cannot use council resources. You must use only Earth technology, only Earth personnel. The council cannot be officially involved. James nodded. Understood. How many ships does Earth have in this sector? Vex checked his display. 3. 1 cargo ship, 1 research vessel, 1 small diplomatic craft. All are at least 4 hours away. James felt desperation rising. That is not enough time. We need to reach the Zentaur system in less than 3 hours to have any chance. Is there nothing closer? Chief Scientist Mara spoke quietly. Ambassador, there is one option. Your species has something we do not. Human engineers on the research vessel designed a prototype faster than light engine. It has never been tested. It could get you there in 90 minutes. Or it could explode and kill everyone on board. James did not hesitate. Contact that ship. Tell them to prepare the engine. Tell them Ambassador Carter is coming. And tell them we are going to save 2 billion lives or die trying. Elder Kryn grabbed his arm. James, please think about this. You've been Earth's ambassador for less than a week. You have a family. You have responsibilities. Let someone else take this risk. James looked into her ancient eyes. Elder, if I ask someone else to risk their life for my promise, then I am a coward. Leaders go first. Leaders take the hardest jobs. That is what my father taught me. He was a firefighter. He ran into burning buildings to save strangers. He died saving a family he never met. I am my father's son. I go first. He turned to the room. I need volunteers. Humans only. This is not a council mission. Anyone who comes might die. Anyone who comes might be blamed. But anyone who comes will know they try to save innocent lives. Who is with me? Silence. Then a voice spoke from the back. I will go. A young human woman stepped forward. Her name was Dr. Lisa Chun. She was a planetary scientist. I have studied asteroid deflection my whole career. You need me. Another voice. I will go too. A human engineer named Marcus Webb. I helped design that prototype engine. If anyone can make it work, it is me. More voices joined. A human pilot. A human communications officer. A human medic. Within minutes, James had a team of 12. All volunteers. All willing to risk everything. He looked at them with pride. Thank you. All of you. Earth is lucky to have you. General Vex approached. Ambassador, I cannot give you council weapons, but I can give you something else. He handed James a small device. This is a personal communicator. Direct line to me. If you need anything, if you get in trouble, call me. I will do what I can. James took the device. Thank you, General. Your friendship means everything. Elder Kryn stepped forward. She held out a small crystal. It glowed green. Ambassador, this is a gift. A personal gift not from the council, but from me. It is a healer's crystal from my home world. It brings luck. It brings hope. Keep it close. James took the crystal carefully. He felt warmth spread through his hand. I will bring it back to you, Elder. I promise.